This is the Angels POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Los Angeles Angels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, yesterday's game couldn't have been any more fun. Today's game couldn't have been any more depressing. Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels postcast, coming at you live, as always, after every single Angels game, even ones like this, right here, live on the Locked On Angels YouTube channel, and after the fact, both on the channel and wherever the heck you get the Locked On Angels audio podcast feed. If you don't know who I am, I apologize. My name is Gavin Carlson. If you don't know who I am, I'm a former credentialed journalist in the LA area. Spent 4 years covering UCLA sports, writing articles, conducting interviews, sitting in press boxes, all that for the Daily Bruin. And now in year 2 with the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. But I'm here to apologize. And yes, Vinny, please stop predicting wins. I know. I'm sorry. Fud Alex says, I think Soriano did hear you yesterday. If you weren't here yesterday for what was an absolutely crazy show, I did predict a 5-3 win in today's game. And a few people, there was one comment that I was thinking about watching this whole game, which said, Soriano just fell to his knees when he heard that Gavin predicted a win. And man, oh man. Chocolatey saying, bro, just stop predicting the wins at this point. I shouldn't have convinced you to call the win yesterday. Yes, the Angels get absolutely, positively thumped tonight. 13-1, the final. It's already bad enough watching Kevin Newman play second base, but today we had to watch Kevin Newman pitch. It's already rough watching him hit. It's already rough watching him play second base, but we had to watch 3 innings of Kevin Newman on the mound. That tells you how bad tonight's ball game was. My guy, and again, I see people in here calling me out saying, you better not take it light on, Fury saying, don't let Soriano slide. He was awful. Yes, he was. Eric says, I apologize for predicting a pitching masterpiece. How embarrassing. Thank you. I'll take it. This is on Ray Montgomery. I mean, I don't know about all that, but moral of the story is Jose Soriano, he's our future, right? Kikuchi's our ace right now, but Soriano's our future. And I've said it many times. I think he has future Cy Young potential. But if there's one knock on Jose Soriano in his young career, and again, let's not forget this is a former reliever, a guy whose job is to come in with guys on base and get out of jams, forcing double plays. Well, guess what? He does that better than anyone else in baseball. I believe it's 20 double plays on the season for Jose Soriano. But the one knock on him has always been that he lets way too many guys on base. Period. Way too many guys on base. And today, quite frankly, he couldn't throw a strike. He couldn't. And it's ironic because the first couple of innings, he did what Soriano does, right? In the first inning, leadoff walk to Josh Smith. You're thinking, oh God, here we go. Corey Seager up. And he forces one of the best hitters in baseball over the last decade, Corey Seager, to ground out and do a double play. Strikes out Marcus Semien, ends up being a 1-2-3 first inning, despite the leadoff walk. What does he do in the second? Instantly walks the leadoff hitter, Adolis Garcia. Ground out. It's what he does. He puts guys on base, and then he gets ground outs. And then here in the top of the third, strikeout. He strikes out the side. So through 3 innings, you're thinking Soriano's having a classic Soriano gem. He's going to get a few guys on base via the walk or via the occasional base hit, but he's going to force ground balls. He's going to get double plays. He's going to have the occasional strikeout because he throws 98 and he throws the ball low. He gets strikes, or he throws strikes. And this is a Rangers lineup that has been struggling mightily. But boy, oh boy, You can only play with fire for so long. And in the top of the fourth, it finally got to him. He walks Seager, third time in 4 innings that he walks the leadoff guy. But what's the difference? Instead of responding with a ground out or a strikeout, he instantly walks the next guy too. Marcus Semien reaches via the walk as well. Now, some people were saying the strike zone was tight. Definitely this inning was an example of that. I mean, ball 4 to Corey Seager. If you look at the strike zone on MLB.com, it's grazing the bottom of the zone. It's right on the knees, right? It's right on the knees. Would have loved it to be strike 3. And then against Marcus Semien, ball 4, it's grazing the corner, but you don't get the benefit of the doubt when you can't throw strikes, right? And so going into this inning, think about it. We're going into the 4th, and he hasn't allowed a base hit yet, Jose Soriano, but there's already been 2 base runners via the walk. So surely if you're an ump, and there was already talk of this being a stingy ump, right? But boy, oh boy, you can't really blame him for not giving Soriano those calls when he's not throwing strikes. So it's Seager walks, Semien walks. You've got first and second, nobody out. Ironically, you get a great play in right field from Lamont Wade. And yes, Davin, hilarious. Lamont Wade has been brutal, but he actually makes a decent sliding catch. Something that someone else at our outfield can't do. We'll get to that in a second. So you're thinking, okay, maybe there's a chance we get out of it. But then this is where it all falls apart. A third walk in 4 batters. Jonah Heim takes a 5-pitch walk. This time, none of them are close. All 4 balls, nowhere near the zone. Easy walk. Again, this is a Rangers team that has been struggling. They needed to be gifted base runners in order to generate offense. And they were not gifted once or twice. They were gifted 5 walks in the first 4 innings. Right? So this is the downside of a pitcher like Soriano, is that he has the stuff to shut down any offense, right? We saw what he just pitched 7 innings, scoreless, 3 hits against the Braves. He can shut down any offense. And as you see my dad show up in the shot there, he can shut down any offense, but he can also give up any run to any team at all times, because he can give a walk that's going to start a rally. And that's what he did today. That's what he did today. As yes, W Dad from Vinny. Yes, Davin is my friend. He knows that my dad is watching the Giants and going crazy because they just did what they did. Vinny says, can your dad pitch tomorrow? Let dad come on. No, my dad is a happy Giants fan right now. That's what he is. Because I guess Patrick Bailey just hit an inside the park home run to win the ball game. But going back to Soriano, this is the downside of a guy like him, right? Is he can shut down any offense. He's done it against the Braves. He's done it again against better lineups this season, but he can give life to any offense. And tonight it's a Rangers lineup, that has been struggling, and he walks 5 guys in the first 4 innings. And finally in the top of the 4th, it comes back to bite him, because then the Angels do what they do regularly, whether they're playing good or not, is make poor plays defensively. Wyatt Langford gets a double on, a flare into left field. The play should have been made. Between this play and the next play, Taylor Ward, thank you, Vinny. Taylor Ward was disgraceful tonight in left field. Disgraceful. So there's not much else to say, and I'm honestly at a loss for words when I watched Taylor Ward do what he did in left field tonight. I know you guys love talking trades. This is a type of night where there isn't really much to talk about in the game. After the break, I don't think I'm going to surprise anybody when I tell you who I think is the number 1 guy I want traded in terms of actually having some value, and also not, a guy that we can trade for something, but also a guy that I'm not going to miss that much. I'm already giving a preview of who that's going to be. But moral of the story, Taylor Ward was awful in left field. Jonah Heim gets a double. That made it 2-1. Evan Carter gets a double. That makes it 4-1. Then Jake Berger hits a hard liner to right field. That makes it 5-1. Soriano gets out of the inning, but Sam Aldegheri was already warming up in case Soriano couldn't get through it. And he kept warming up through the bottom of the 4th because Montgomery had decided at that point, Aldegari's coming into the ball game, regardless of what Soriano does. And so surely enough, he comes in. And that's the other sad thing about tonight's blowout loss is this could have been a great, exciting day. We get Yohan Moncada back at third base. We get Aldegari back. I know that's not really an exciting thing to see Aldegari back. Some could argue because he hasn't even been great in the minors. But still, two guys that you want to be a part of your future, rejoining the team, coming off an exciting win yesterday. And instead, Soriano and our guy, Soriano, starting. Soriano lays an egg. Aldegari comes in. He lays an egg. Single to Corey Seager. Walks Garcia. Walks Jonah Heim. Strikes out Wyatt Langford. But then walks in a run Evan Carter. Then gives up a 2-run single to Jake Berger. Then gives up another run on a Kyle Higashioka single. And just like that, it's 9-1 and the ball game is over. So, Big G, I disagree. I don't think he's officially not a part of our future, but if you want to see an absolute clinic, and by the way, in case you didn't watch, he also then gave up a solo shot to Corey Seager on the top of the sixth before he was eventually taken out of this game. But I don't know if he's the future. I would like him to be a part of the future. There's certainly an upside. But if you want a clinic on how to absolutely ruin a guy's development, it's, hey, you're having serious control issues in the minors, but we are so desperate for a long reliever that we are going to call you up despite your serious control issues in the minors and then put you in a ball game where our starter has already had insane control issues and then act shocked when you are having control issues. Talk about how to ruin development, right? Because at that point, the ump is calling a tight strike zone when he watched what Soriano did. The Rangers are going to be extremely patient with how little they had to do to earn those runs against Soriano. And now you're throwing in a guy who can't throw strikes in the minors. And you're going to expect him to throw strikes against Corey Seager when you need him to be perfect, by the way. You need him to be perfect because at this point, you're already getting blown out. And then to make matters worse, he goes into the game and he's getting wrecked, singles, walks, and there's no sign of anyone in the bullpen. I get it. You bring him up for a reason. He's basically a starter. He's going to be a long reliever. He's there to eat up innings. I get it. But again, talk about the perfect recipe. Hey, buddy, you can't throw strikes against minor league hitters. One of our aces can't throw strikes. The Rangers are already up big. And now we're going to ask you to do something you haven't done against a team that's already preparing to take balls and against an ump that's not going to call strikes. And oh, by the way, whether you're struggling or not, there's no leash on you tonight. Just keep getting destroyed by the Rangers. Just keep giving up runs. So not a good recipe for a young pitcher, right, at all. And I don't know how much more evidence we need to know that this team does not really know how to manage young pitchers. I mean, thank God for Jose Soriano. Ironically, I'm going to say it on a night like tonight where he was awful, but thank God for him, the only guy that has survived this young angel pitcher curse. And Reed Detmers, it's taking a lucky bullpen hot streak from Reed Detmers to maybe save his career. But we know the other disasters, the Chase Silseth. You could say Jack Kwanowitz is in there. Obviously, Patrick Sandoval, probably the best example. So you wonder why. It's because you're doing things like this. Hey, Sam, you can't throw a strike. Get in there and throw strikes against a team that's not going to swing. And we're already down, so we need you to be perfect. And even if you're not perfect, we're not going to save you from your struggles. Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. So I don't know. Long story short, Big G, I don't know if Sam is a part of our future. I know that Soriano is part of our future. And no, Vinny, I don't give him too much credit in the sense that he has A+ stuff. I really think he does. He's that type of guy where you go on MLB The Show and the velocity is 99 and the break is 95, but the control is 60. The control is 60. And if the control could be 75, we're talking about a Cy Young candidate. I truly believe it. And there's been times where the control has been a 75, by the way. And now he's mixing in a splitter, which is pretty nasty. The sinker's already deadly. The sweeping knuckle curve, whatever you want to call it, is nasty. So, again, I'm not saying that he's already an ace, but on our roster, he's already the second best starting pitcher. And we know Kikuchi's only got a couple of years. So I talk about Soriano like that because I think he has the potential. I've never said that he is a Cy Young. I said he has the potential to be. And honestly, let's be honest, he was worse. He's been worse this year than he was last year. After last year, how could you not be excited? This guy's never been a starter in his life, and he's doing what he's doing last year in his first couple of starts of his career, right? So that's why I talk about him the way I talk about him. Aldegari, I don't know. He doesn't have A+ stuff, right? But we're not giving him a chance. Let's be honest. We're not giving him a chance. So that's my rant on the pitching today. Soriano couldn't throw a strike. Aldegari couldn't throw a strike. And then, of course, we had 3 innings of Kevin Newman giving up a bunch of runs as well. That's why you see a big 13 spot and an embarrassing 13-1 loss for our Angels tonight. We're going to take a break. The show cannot be 35 minutes again like it was yesterday. And we're already getting up there today. But I'm going to take a break. When I come back, we're going to quickly talk about how little the offense did. And I'm going to tell you, like I was saying, what I think about this upcoming trade deadline after today's game, because I've had it with one guy. We'll get there after the break. Now, on this Tuesday, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. And someone in there made a hilarious comment saying, thank goodness Gavin can't use FanDuel in California because he's been rough. But the funny thing is, if I was not in California, despite how bad I've been at predicting things, I would still use FanDuel because it's the best. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You're already following the action. Certainly I am. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. Like I said, if I could use FanDuel, I still would, despite how bad I am at predicting things, because it's easy to use. It's a fast payout. It makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. So if you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. And today's show is also, for the first time, brought to you by Open Phone. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had a service emergency like a burst pipe. If the first plumber didn't answer, did you wait? Nope, you called the next one. That's why having a reliable business line is so important, and that's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. Did you juggle 2 phones just to keep a business and personal call separate? I certainly have. I've worked in sales the past year, and I have 1 phone, but I got 2 different numbers, and it's complicated, right? Well, Open Phone solves that instantly. Your whole team can share 1 number and respond to customers like a shared inbox. No more who's handling this. And the AI agent handles after-hours calls, answers common questions, and captures leads, so you can never miss a customer again. Open Phone is offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedonmlb. That's openphone.com/lockedonmlb. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Back here live on a frustrating edition of the Locked On Angels postcast. Angels 1, Rangers 13. And ironically, another ball game where the Angels score in the first inning. Again, there's a few things you can guarantee every night, and it's that the Angels are going to score in the first couple of innings. And if the game is remotely close, they're going to score a couple runs at the end of the ball game. Well, tonight they got the first run, the run in the first inning. A bad error allows Neto to get all the way to second. And you're thinking, wow, what a great start. Soriano gets out of a first inning walk with a double play on Corey Seager. Then in the bottom of the first, Neto gets to second on an error. And then immediately Nolan Schanuel, playing hero once again, gets a little blooper into right field. And just like that, it's 1-0. You're thinking, what a fantastic start. But unfortunately, that's all she wrote, right? Not only does a ground out into a double play from Mike Trout kill the first, but then the Angels didn't really have much else, right? Basically a 1-2-3 second outside of a Joe Adell hit by pitch. A couple of singles in the third, but Mike Trout strikes out. He had a rough one today. And really, then the top of the fourth happened. The Angels are suddenly down 5-1. And then you kind of just felt like all the life got sucked out of the big A, right? A 1-2-3, or essentially a 1-2-3 fourth. Ohapi with a really bad strikeout. He has been awful. He strikes out on a splitter there, despite a Joe Adell single. And that's the funny thing. The Angels only had a couple hits off of Evaldi tonight, and they were all really bloop hits. So not really many great at-bats, not any hard hit balls. And it really just, it fell off after they fell behind a 1-2-3 fifth. Not much going for the Angels offense, to say the least. One guy who not only had an offensive performance, 1 for 4, but also was abysmal in the field, was Taylor Ward. And again, I know I already talked about it, but I know you all want to talk about the trade deadline and what to do. The moral of the story is I think I am very pro trading Taylor Ward. There's teams that don't need him, right? It's not only in terms of us, his fit, or it's not only in terms of his fit with us, but it's also his fit with other teams, right? It's not about is he good or bad, but he's probably better suited in other teams that don't need fielding and need hitting. Vinny says send him to he meant send him to San Diego. The funny thing is San Diego or San Francisco, teams like that would love him because they don't need fielding. I mean, like I said, the Giants somehow win the game tonight. But boy, oh boy, you go through their lineup and they only have 2 guys hitting over 250, right? So they would love a Taylor Ward. Even though he's hitting 226, he's going to instantly have one of the 3 or 4 best OPSs on their team. And are they willing to sacrifice him being a bad fielder in order to have a very solid OPS? Yes. Are they willing to sacrifice him have a month where he strikes out a bunch and is really frustrating? Sure. But me personally, I said it when I did my daily show with the Super Halo Bros. Is Taylor Ward good? Yes. Is he still one of our 3 or 4 best hitters? Yes. But you know what else he is? Despite being one of the veterans on this team, he's extremely inconsistent. And that's not what we need. We need our veterans to hit 270, maybe with a few less home runs, a few less RBIs, but also a few less strikeouts and a few less boneheaded plays in the field, right? We don't need him to be, we don't need our veterans to be these up and down guys. We already have that in our young guys, right? Joe Adell is already at his peak, 11 home runs in the month of June, 15-game hitting streak. At his low, 11 consecutive at-bats without a base hit until his bloop single today, right? We already get that from him, and it's working. Ohapi, unfortunately, it's a lot of low this year, but at his best, he's going to give you those peaks. We know Shanuel and Neto are up and down. We know Trout is up and down, and he's the one veteran that you're going to let be up and down. But Taylor Ward is up and down, and it's not that he's bad, right? He has the 3rd best or 4th best OPS on the team. Trout has gone above him. Neto's gone above him. Adell well above him. And yes, it's true. When he's locked in, he's huge. And he's low-key kind of clutch. Absolutely. But you know what else he is? You know what else he is? He's up and down. And I don't want our veterans to be that. Exactly, Angel. He's a roller coaster, and we have enough roller coasters. We have enough of them. So I would like our veterans to be steady guys and for our young guys to be the roller coasters. And so I just don't think it's a good fit anymore. I don't think it is. I think he'd be a much better fit on a team like San Diego that's got a bunch of steady veterans and maybe needs an up and down guy. Right? So, God, oh God, yes, I would love someone to hit 300, but let's be honest, no one in baseball hits 300 anymore. Let's be honest with that, right? But if you can go get a guy who's hitting 280, gives you a more steady glove, again, what we were hoping Rengifo would be, and he's does have another 1 for 3 tonight, but would love to swap Taylor Ward for a B. Because what's Taylor Ward? He's a B+ bat with a D- glove. I would love a B bat and a C+ glove that's hitting a different type of B+ hitting, right? Higher average, lower slugging, lower home runs. We have enough power, right? So that's my opinion. But outside of that, it was nice to see Moncada back. We certainly miss him. I forget, actually, he has an 810 OPS because he was having a great start to the year before he got hurt. And we're close. We're close to seeing our full lineup. We still haven't really got to see it, right? I want to see our lineup, our team, how it performs with Moncada at 3rd, with Christian Moore at 2nd. Heck, you have Moncada at 3rd, Christian Moore at 2nd. You trade Taylor Ward. Guess what? You can put Rengifo in left field, right? So I want to see what our lineup looks like, even with Ward for a little bit. When Christian Moore comes back, now that Moncada's at 3rd, we'll have our full lineup and we'll see what it looks like, right? But for now, frustrating loss. We fall 13-1 to the Rangers. I'm going to wrap this one up. Already another super long show, but again, really appreciate you guys from yesterday. Got to say it one more time. The fact that I come on an hour late and you guys are all still waiting for me. Appreciate that. And I appreciate you all for being here today after a 13-1 loss. But are we selling Halo J? I mean, certainly if you stay 3 or 4, 5 games below 500, you certainly can't buy. Again, I would like to maybe trade trade Gavin for Trent Rush? Are you saying that you want Trent Rush doing this show? Or are you saying that you want me doing his show? You tell me. Someone said trade yourself. Moncada is good. No. I like Moncada. I'm not saying to trade Moncada. I'm saying I want to see Moncada at third and Christian Moore at second. And I want to see maybe Taylor Ward get sold for a great prospect and we can have Ranheat fill in at left field. No, keep you, Gavin. Love it. But yeah, you tell me your thoughts in the comment section after the show goes live, what you want to be, what you want to happen at the deadline. I think if we stay at this level, there's no way you can justify buying, and maybe you just justify a hard sale. Think about how good this team could be if you turn Taylor Ward into a prospect. Maybe you turn Tyler Anderson into a prospect. Think about how good this team could be next year or year after that. You have a young core that's already studs, and then you got some more young guys that can develop, right? And don't have to be great. So for now, tough loss. You still have an opportunity to win a series, right? You still have an opportunity to win a series, and we're going to hope for that. We'll be back here live after that game tomorrow. So, Brian Reynolds, Trey's target. No. Although he made it clear he doesn't want to be on a winner, Davin. So maybe he wants to be on the Angels, but I doubt we're doing that. So, no 10-second break, Fud Alex. We're wrapping this one up today. Everyone's saying, tell my dad hi. I will do that. But shout out to everybody. Let me know what you're thinking about the trades. We won't talk much about this game. We'll see you back here tomorrow after tomorrow's one. But have a good rest of your Tuesday. Keep your head up. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And as always, go Angels. Take care.